I'm going off the rails on a crazy train. Hello, guys, and welcome to another episode of Off the Rails. That's right. I'm back. It's been a hot minute since I've been on this podcast, but Off the Rails just isn't the same without yours truly, Kenny, hosting the show. I'm joined here with my good friend and companion.
Hey, I'm Tony. I'm the guy sitting here pushing all the buttons, trying to make this duct tape production work. And I'm really glad that Kenny's back, so that way I can do my job and sit here and be quiet. And next to me is...
I'm Taylor, and they are once again using my house as a meeting place because we have nowhere else to go.
Off the rails on a crazy
Off
train.
the rails. So, what's everyone been up to lately?
So I was just gone for a month down to California.
Is that where you were?
That's what I was. I was down in California. My job took me places. I did things. I traveled a lot of California. Shout out to people in California. I was mostly in Central California. Traveled between Santa Barbara all the way up the 101 to San Francisco. And you know what's something that shocked me about San Francisco is how steep the streets are.
I've seen just in like videos, just pictures of it. They look really steep, and I'm afraid to walk them.
It is bonkers how steep those streets are. I've been driving for a long time. Most of my life I've been driving. I've been doing a lot of driving. I was getting vertigo driving my van up and down those streets. There's a street there. I'm not remembering off the top of my head what the name of the street is. But I don't know if you've seen movies that take place in San Francisco, but they always have that one street that like winds down the side of San Francisco. It's kind of like a curvy, windy path.
Mm-hmm.
I don't remember for the life of me what the name of that street is, but I went and saw it in person. And it is exactly as tight and as windy and as crazy as you think. And they have signs at the top of that street there in San Francisco that tell you, hey, you can't take buses down this, you can't take vans or trucks down this.
Well, but some of the streets, those really steep ones in San Francisco, have the trolley train.
They
that
do.
goes-
Not this one, though. But most of them do. Yes. And it's scary when you're in front of the trolley train because then you try to come to a complete stop at a stop sign and you're hoping that trolley has good brakes. Otherwise, you might just die
Yeah.
in the city by the bay, the Golden Coast. Also, I got to see, with my own eyeballs, Alcatraz. It's a little bit closer to San Francisco than I thought it would be, but there it is. Right between San Francisco and Oakland. Right out there in the bay. I also got to see the Golden Gate Bridge. Not that it's not a wonderful piece of engineering, but I wasn't like, oh, holy cow, it's the Golden Gate Bridge. Like, I've been impressed by bridges before. Something about it was it's really narrow. It's surprisingly narrow. And the people that drive in California are always in a rush. And they apparently did not like how fast I was going across that bridge. So, there's a lot of people getting really close to me. I was trying to enjoy the view. I don't think they appreciated me doing that. But there is a really nice viewpoint from the other side when I was driving down there. Got to stop. I took a couple of videos. I don't know if I've shown you guys the videos I took.
No, actually,
you
I
haven't.
don't think that you've shown us any videos.
I took a couple of videos, the bridge, the bay, Alcatraz, the beach. I also went and visited Fort Scott, which is a retired military facility where they taught anti-naval battery defense, which is where you use big artillery guns to fend off ships and land ship coastal warfare. We don't do that anymore because there's easier ways to fend off ships. But yeah, we used to have a base right there, fully dedicated. It was an army base too, fully dedicated to just artillery guns shooting at ships. Believe it or not, it was instituted at I believe during the Civil War of all things. And then it maintained that way because
In
they were...
San Francisco?
Yes. It blew my mind. I could not believe
that
it.
far out in the Civil War era?
Oh, there was so most of it was on the East Coast, but it blew my mind too to learn that base was instituted during the Civil War to help protect northern supply routes from pirates, the South if they ever wanted to, things like that. And then it went on for a long time until the somewhere in the 1930s to 60s, somewhere in that range. It's pretty broad, I know, but I'm not entirely sure when exactly it closed down. But they closed it because they found it easier to defeat enemy ships with things that weren't just static coastal batteries, which you can understand why that would be something you never want to invest money into. If as warfare has modernized, static warfare has gone away because it's too difficult to maintain, especially with how expensive warfare is in the modern age. And I want to explain what I mean by static warfare. Static warfare is when you have instruments or units or something that
It's because of my
doesn't
AC.
move. So if you put a artillery battery on a rampart or like a castle wall, is basically what they look like, and it just sits there and it can't move or anything, and it rests on a pivot point, it's called static warfare. But what makes that so bad as we modernize as a world and then as militaries is that becomes a sitting target that can't really defend itself. So if you have a ship out there that can obviously move, that's its greatest defense, but it can do counter battery operations and you can't move, your best bet is to just take rounds from it. But as armies have advanced, things like cruise missiles, Tomahawk missiles, greater bearing accuracy, AIs that can calculate trajectory while in motion, those things made static warfare a detriment to use as a defensive tool. So we moved away from funding these things, and they basically retired Fort Scott, and it's now like a rich folks, like
I have 2 microphones.
the power. So there's a lot of rich people that live in the old Fort Scott area. It's kind of like a gated community for a bunch of rich folks. I did drive up and down the area that had like where the colonels and the higher rank individuals were supposed to live, and they got some nice mansion like places on that fort.
Where's this again? I totally missed that last
This
sentence.
is Fort Scott,
Fort Scott.
and they have a street dedicated to like higher echelon officers living areas, and they're big houses. Big houses. They're older houses, so they're probably big for a reason, but they're bigger than my house. I had a lot of fun down in California, moving a lot of vehicles to and fro.
You were driving quite a bit?
I was driving a lot, and
You
it
were
was
driving
all
a lot.
hours. I would be like from 4 in the morning till 2 in the morning, just constantly
Driving
moving.
lots.
It was
That sounds like
tiresome,
something
but it
you would
wasn't
say.
He's
necessarily
very
that
rude tonight.
difficult. It was tiresome, but it wasn't necessarily that difficult. And something that surprised me is that California was cooler than here at home. It was cooler.
Oh, as in colder temperature.
Yeah, it was much
Yeah.
cooler. Like, it was hot when I came back.
The way you keep saying cooler is like, so like it's better down there.
No, and I'll say, well, at least the roads aren't.
The roads are not better.
No, the right lane leaves something to be desired unless you want to just have a constant drive. Everyone's in the left lane. If you don't stay in the left lane and you, for some reason, like, oh, I'm going to get into the right lane here in California, then they'll leave you there in the right lane because no one will let you back over into the left lane because everyone's in the left lane. No one goes the speed limit because it's a suggestion. And it's not because there's no law enforcement, because I was seeing people pulled over all the time. That guy's pulled over. That guy's pulled over. That guy got pulled over by a dude on a chopper. But then
Hey,
everyone still speeds.
Yes.
Can you do me a favor? Could you, with these ones, can you not try to eat the mic? Don't do it. Don't.
That's okay. When I went down to California in 19, when I went with my cheer coach and her family down to LA and everything, I sent Tony a video, so I'd never flown before. So I flew down there by myself and was meeting them there because they were on a different plane than I was.
Eddie's in the chat.
And
What's up, Eddie?
I had an hour.
Eddie that we work with.
Oh.
I had an hour
Oh.
layover in.
I was like,
We're still listening to
I
you.
had an hour layover in Oakland, and I was so afraid to leave the terminal that I was gonna miss my plane and get lost and stuck in Oakland.
why did you want to leave the terminal for your next flight?
I didn't because the terminal that I got off was where I was reloading on the next plane.
Okay.
But I had an hour layover, so I had to wait there for an hour. I was afraid to leave the terminal because I was afraid of getting lost.
Oh, I was.
And I didn't have my bag. The only thing I had with me was my purse and a blanket.
So I flew in from San Luis Obispo to San Francisco, and then from San Francisco I came into Pasco on my return flight. But the San Francisco airport is huge. It is very big. And my terminals were super far away, but
There's a very angry baby behind me.
I had maybe a 2.5 hour layover, and I was trying to see what all restaurants were available because I'm not a coffee guy, and I was seeing a lot of coffee restaurants, and I was like, no, I want something like, not necessarily that I could sit down because the one restaurant that had sit down, like the line was out the door. So I was wondering if there's anywhere I could get like a Subway or a Burger King. So I walked all around San Francisco International Airport trying to find somewhere to get food. I finally did. I found some place that sold me a $12 burrito.
Ouch.
Oh, that hurt my soul, but I bought it. It was delicious, but it wasn't $12 delicious. And it was the size of my hand. I had to do it because I knew I was going to tell this story. I measured it against my hand. It was the same size as my hand.
It's a pretty small burrito for $12.
What for $12?
For $12.
Oh, your wallet, dude. Your poor wallet. Wow, dude. That
It was.
I can't say much though
for
because
some reason my mic just fell apart.
I can't say much because when I was waiting in Oakland, they had a little outlet thing that served, a little bit of food here and there. And so I grabbed a protein thing, and that cost me, what was it, 10 or 11 bucks just for that little protein thing. It had one egg, a couple of almonds, some crackers, and some carrots. That cost me 11 bucks at the airport. And a bottle of water.
I was so bored waiting for this plane. I actually got in line for a coffee stand, and I got a chocolate croissant and a hot cocoa, which was doubling up on chocolate, I know, but I ate it slowly. I had a really funny moment there because I was sitting on the end of a bench. There was nothing to my right. The bench went out to my left. I put the hot cocoa down on the ground to my right, and at some point, I must have picked it up. I don't know. I was playing on my phone. I didn't realize it, but I picked it up, and I was at some point drinking from it. And I was like, man, you know what? I'm really thirsty. I'm going to go pick up my cocoa. And I looked down and I was like, my cocoa's gone.
My cocoa's
Did
gone.
someone take I had cocoa in hand. Did someone take my cocoa? And there was this lady doing yoga next to me, like out on the floor to my right.
Oh, wait, on the plane?
No,
No,
this is not on the
Oh.
plane. This is in the terminal
in the
waiting.
terminal.
Okay. I thought it was on the plane. I was like, someone's just busting out downward dog in the middle of the
I
aisle,
don't know
huh?
if I would ever set a hot cocoa down on the ground in a plane. But I was looking at her for a second, and I looked out, and the thought crossed my mind. I was like, did this lady, snatch my hot cocoa while doing yoga next to me? And I was like, man, that
The yoga thief.
that really bums me out. I wanted some hot cocoa. And then, as soon as that, I was all bummed out, it's in my hand.
It's
This
in
is
my hand.
100% my hand. The hot cocoa's in my hand.
So,
I'm going to set that down. And then I went to the bathroom. I set the hot cocoa down. I went to the bathroom, and I came back, and that lady that was doing yoga was sitting in my seat. So I came up.
So she didn't steal your hot cocoa, but you thought she did, and then she actually stole your seat.
She 100% stole my seat. So I came back to grab my hot cocoa.
Are you sure that you weren't already in your seat?
I was 100% really going to make that moment awkward, but she never paid attention to me when I came over and got really close as I grabbed my hot cocoa from her. Not breaking eye contact that she never made with me.
No, dude, she was doing yoga in
And
the
then I
middle
walked
of an
away.
airport terminal. Nothing's breaking her concentration. She
And-
is used to people trying to creep her out.
Well, I mean, she was sitting down at that point. But like when I walked away though, she was like she stood up and then she'd sit back down and she was doing like squats on the seat.
Huh.
But I mean, it was all for the better because then I realized like, oh, they're boarding my plane and I wasn't paying attention. So I walked over and I waited. Luckily, I was in until like group 4, so I was still waiting. And they let active military personnel go on first, but here's the thing about loading first is you're sitting there longer, so I actually don't mind being a later boarding party. Here's the thing about being the later boarding party. I'm not sitting claustrophobic, like shoulder to shoulder with everyone for the longest amount of time. I'm the last guy. I'm the last dude to sit down, then the cabin door closes and we take off, so I'm the freshest person on the plane. Also, I'm not the one being disappointed by someone sitting next to me. I'm the guy sitting next to you.
You're the disappointment. He's okay with being the disappointment.
People prefer me sitting next
Pretty
to
sure
them.
he's pretty used to that. all the
Really?
way.
People prefer me sitting next to
People
them.
prefer you.
Yes.
Because he's tall, skinny, and doesn't take up a whole lot of room.
Here's the funny thing about that, though, is I did sit next to a guy. And I was like, hey, buddy, it looks like you and I are together. And he's like, okay. And we sat down, we buckled up. There wasn't a whole lot of people on this flight, though. And at some point, and this is what flights do, the attendants will come in and be like, hey, are you guys traveling together? If you're not, you can sit in different seats. And she came up to me and she's like, you guys
Wait,
traveling together?
Which airline did you use?
United.
Oh.
And she came up to us, she's like, are you guys traveling together? And I said, no, ma'am. And she's like, well, you can move up as long as you're not past row 17. You can go sit somewhere else. And I was like, buddy, this is where our journey comes to an end. And he's like, yep. And I went, sat a couple rows ahead of us. We didn't even take off yet. Our journey together was short. I did have a really funny moment talking about coming into a terminal just to turn around and get right back onto the plane that was at the same terminal. We were waiting in San Diego. I had a friend of mine who had met me down there, and we were waiting on a third person. And we were waiting at a terminal, and we're like, oh, when is he going to get here? He's got an hour, but he should be arriving like any moment now. He's going to be a little bit late. And then they opened up the doors, and he was off-boarding the very plane we were about to get on.
Oh.
And we're like, hey, you're going to have to turn right back around because we're getting back on this plane to go to Santa Barbara. And he's like, oh, that's convenient. And so he did. He turned right back around, said hello to the flight attendant. He's like, hey, it's me again. He sat back down in the plane.
So, yeah, no,
The very plane he rode in on is the same plane he had to ride on the connection elsewhere.
See,
Yeah, get out in the plane you came in on.
See, on the way down, I flew with Southwest,
Okay.
which I like Southwest because no matter where you put your seat, no matter what you pay for your seat, and as long as you're not like first class, you can sit anywhere on the plane.
Same with United.
So
I can pick my seat.
it was really nice because I got to sit next to a window, and somebody sat next to me on the way to Oakland. And then nobody sat next to me from Oakland to LA. But because they didn't have a layover, they just had a straight there flight. I was left at the airport by myself and had to take the bus to where they rented the car and meet them there. And Tony knows this because I Snapchatted Tony. I was the only person on this bus, which made it really creepy for me other than this driver. This driver. I never want to ride another bus in LA again.
Uh-oh.
I sent Tony videos and pictures while I was on this bus. And he's
Of
like,
himself?
no, I sent them to Tony while I was there in
I wasn't
LA.
driving the bus.
And Tony was like,
Here.
I almost wish that you would ask him if you could drive the bus because then at least I know you'll make it there safely.
Wild. I don't remember where I was. It is
Where's your sucker?
beyond. I don't remember because I've flown a lot in my life.
Find your sucker.
And I'm going to define a lot, at least for me. I never expected to fly this much. But I've flown close to 20 times now. I've flown a lot.
My flight was there and back. I've never flown since then. That was my first flight there.
And I don't remember what airport I was at. It might have been Colorado, but for some reason I doubt it because Colorado's got the Amtrak underneath the tarmac that takes you anywhere. But it was so wild to me. The transportation from terminal building to terminal building, because they didn't have like a long building and you walk through the building to get to each of the different terminals. It was like a building. This was Terminal G building. This was Terminal A building. This was Terminal whatever building. And then there was just tarmac between all the buildings, like Colorado. But in Colorado, you go to the basement, get on the Amtrak, and then the train will take you to the basement of each of the buildings.
Over there, is it on my floor?
It's on the floor.
Will somebody pick it up?
Yeah. However, what this place did is they didn't have a basement with an Amtrak system, or at least I'm not tracking that the building had an Amtrak system. What? I think your dog wants in.
He does. I just don't want to let him in.
How they transported passengers from the different terminal buildings is they had these massive. It looked like a room. It looked like a room, right? It's just a normal room, but it was kind of outfitted like a bus. Like they had handrails that you could head onto. There was a bench along the sides of it, and at the very end, it was like the steering wheel of a ship. With the many prongs on it.
Wait, what?
It looked like the steering wheel of a
Okay.
ship.
Can you go throw it in the garbage?
But it was lying on this podium. It was at the very front,
Put it in the garbage.
and there was windows all the way around. So it was like they turned a room into like a quasi bus with like a ship steering wheel. But as soon as you walk into this room, it detaches from the building, and you're like, "What's happening right now?"
Will you throw that in the garbage? She's asking you to throw it.
And you look down, and you're like 30 feet off the ground. You're like in the third story of a building, and it's just wheels. It's like axle straight down to wheels. So you're like high centered in a room on wheels, and there's a dude driving it like he's the captain of a ship. And so you thought, oh, I'm in a room. Okay, I wonder how this room is gonna. Why does this room have a steering wheel? And all of a sudden, you detach from the building, and you're driving away. And he's like driving around planes that are taxiing across the tarmac. They're like, oh, okay. And then finds where our next terminal is, turns around, backs us up to the building, and then just lets us out. It was wild. I've never seen it. It was like we were on stilts as a room, and we would just drive over to other buildings and just get in them. I didn't even know what vehicle this was. But they were all over. It was a wild ride. You want to throw this away?
Yeah, no, I wouldn't mind flying again.
Here, I got it.
I didn't like. I think if I went with different people, I might have liked Disneyland a little bit more.
Who'd you go with?
I went with my cheer coach and her family, which they don't entirely get along half the time.
Her and her family?
Yeah. So at one point, I got stuck by myself in the middle of Disneyland because they went one way, and then she decided that she was mad about. I can't remember what she was mad about, and her and the kids just decided to leave Disneyland and go to. I think they went to Denny's. And then I got stranded there because I didn't see where her sister and her parents went. But I knew that they'd gotten on the train, and she had originally told me not to follow them. And it's like, well, now I'm stuck here in the middle of Disneyland by myself, not knowing where the heck I'm supposed to go.
I remember you sending me that, and I was like, it was nice knowing you.
Yeah, I sent it to Tony. He's like, I've been left alone and stranded here. I'm not sure what to do. And then she texted me, and she's like, we're leaving the park if you want to come join us. So I got on the train and left Disneyland.
Wild. That sounds...
I told her she could always get a
super
job
fun.
as one of the chipmunks.
He did.
That's hilarious. I do enjoy this.
Hey, what do you think you're doing?
You can get a job as one of the chipmunks.
But, yeah. I think I would have had more fun at Disneyland. I liked Santa Monica more than I liked Disneyland. I enjoyed walking along the beach a lot more.
There is not a single inch of California beach that is not commercialized. All of it's private in some capacity.
See, I'm supposed to be going to the coast. I'm supposed to leave
I went to Pismo Beach, though, and that was a pretty fun place.
But
It was, well, I mean, it had good restaurants.
I'm supposed to go to Long Beach, Washington on the 20th.
Oh, yeah? And do what?
So my foster parents from Somerville my foster mom, her birthday is in July, like mine, and it's only like a couple days apart. So the first birthday that I had after living with them, they took me down to the coast, and so this is the first time they will have taken me down to the coast since I was 16.
Since you were 16?
Since I was 16. So I'm very excited to go with them, and instead of because we went to Astoria and Seaside and stuff.
Seaside is a lot of fun. There's a lot of
stuff to do.
There's a lot of closed down buildings at Seaside, but
Yeah.
Seaside's got a really fun tourist area on the beach.
Yeah, but they've been going to
I
Long
want to
Beach.
go to Astoria. I do.
My sister-in-law lives there. But
Tony, you want to go to Astoria?
I'll go with you.
Astoria?
Yeah.
Fine. YMS trip right now.
YMS trip.
Yeah,
tax
let's go.
tax write off.
At
Let's
some
go.
point this summer, we're going to Astoria.
Okay,
Patrick can deal with it.
let's go. Let me know
Speaking
when we're
of-
going.
Patrick and stuff like that.
In dealing with it.
Yeah, and dealing with it. I actually just got informed today that my approval went through.
For?
Third party.
Oh, okay. So now you're a third-party tester.
Yeah, there's a few things I got to do. I'm waiting on an email from our area safety manager and ODE.
Were you here for the discussion that we were gonna open a YMS bar?
No, he wasn't here.
Oh, you weren't here. For that.
But
Wow.
it was a joke.
Wow.
Hey, please don't mess with those. You're gonna stop. Put it back.
Yeah, we were joking around about
I don't care about that.
doing a
Leave
bar
that
and
alone.
doing
But
a bar
yeah,
and
I'm gonna
stuff.
be third party.
Or Tony was gonna buy the church that looks like a castle, and we were gonna do D&D there.
The old Episcopal Church?
Yeah.
Yeah, the one over by
The courthouse?
no,
No, it's
further down.
Hold on. I got this. By Gordon's Electric?
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah. Could you imagine doing D&D in that?
Hey.
With candles?
Yes.
Mike
Right.
was really good about it. When he was our GM, he would always bring candles, and they were tall. Tall candles.
I saw him. Remember, because you guys had the D&D one of the times when we were supposed to be
Yeah.
filming.
We would play with the lights off.
Yeah, you can play
Yeah.
with that thing.
But yeah,
I mean, if we really want to, I could buy a whole bunch of candles and we could do
plenty
candles
of room for
D&D.
filming.
This thing's pretty cool, though. I like this.
So you put alcohol in that and you light it on fire
Yeah.
and you can do s'mores and stuff.
Well, we didn't do s'mores, but I have lit it before.
Plenty of room for filming, right?
Office
Workshop,
space.
Who owns it?
parking,
Do you know?
Caldwell Bacon. Office space. Everyone gets their own office.
How
plus
much are they
a
asking for it?
Podcast room. I have no idea. I have not checked up on it.
Is it a commercial space, or are they allowing people to live in it?
I think it's a commercial
That's
space.
It depends on what the city codes it as.
I'm assuming commercial because there was never living quarters. As far as I know, there was never living quarters established.
Mm.
I
It's
told him
not
it
a
would be a great
residential
thing
area.
because we would
That
all
whole
have our own
block is
offices,
commercial.
and I could just have so much makeup for studio makeup and just have like a makeup chair in that one
A
office.
makeup chair, we could hear it like a dentist chair.
Like, here, hold still.
Another one that's up for sale is Pupcakes Grooming
Oh, down by Salvation Army?
by the Salvation Army store. Yeah,
They
the
just
church is
they
by the
just-
Salvation Army Church.
They just got that building too not that long ago because it used to be the vet's office
Yep.
before the vets built the new one by Papa Murphy's.
It's been about 4 years. And
Has it really been that long already?
Did the grooming service go somewhere else, or are they just out of business?
I think that they're
There-
planning on moving somewhere else because they're still running business out of there, but there's a for sale sign in the window.
There is a for sale sign in it.
it doesn't have as much business as of late. I've heard
Well-
some things going on about it.
I contacted a dude on social media recently. He's going to charge me $350, which is super steep, to come and clean my car.
I
Oh.
would pay that. Are they like detailing it and everything?
I don't know. We're going to find out.
Well, let me
Definitely going to find
let
out.
me know because like if
He's
he
going to
doesn't,
clean my car before I pay him. If the cost is $350, I'm
Yeah.
going to see afterwards. Like,
I agree with that.
you're gonna tell me that's $350 worth of cleaning a car. He said he's gonna do everything.
Let me know when he comes to do this. I want to see this happen.
He offered it over social media, and I said, "Hey, I'm willing." And he said $350, and I was like, "Oh, well, let's find out."
Where's he coming from?
Apparently he's local,
Hmm.
and he does up to 25 miles outside of here.
Yeah, you let me know when that happens. I kind of want to come see what he does.
And my car is terrible, so I'm.
I think mine is worse than yours. My back seat, where my car seat is, there is some pink stuff on my leather seats that I have no idea what the heck it is.
Your daughter trying to wear sunglasses is hilarious.
I bent them to try to fit her face, at least the nose pieces, but she keeps bending them apart. Are you from Top Gun?
Oh yeah, she's going shopping.
Yeah, the other part of that conversation was purchasing Mosas on Main Street and opening up like a bar that we could film out of.
Yeah,
A bar.
a bar.
No
I mean,
one
I've
wants
got
to
a,
go to a bar
I've
in
got a,
Pendleton.
I've got
Yeah,
a, I've got a
Who would have
bartending
thought
license.
of that, owning a bar in
No.
I've got
Pendleton?
my
don't need
OLCC, so this would be like a great thing for me.
I'm gonna do that really attractive thing where I say this is a no smoking zone in my bar.
Okay.
There's
how many
usually
people
no.
will that?
There's usually not smoking
Actually,
in bars.
yeah.
There's a lot of bars that don't allow smoking inside.
You
Which
have
bars?
you actually have to have a special permit to allow smoking in bars.
Yeah.
Other than that, they don't. And so I don't know a bar in Pendleton that allows smoking.
I think
Elvis's.
Say Elvis, you can smoke in.
As soon as I said that,
There's
it
one.
dawned on
There's
me.
one
Elvis's.
more.
The Packard?
I think
No.
you can't smoke a Packard. I
You
swear
can-
they were
you-
smoking Packard.
I don't think.
I think there's been plenty of people that are smoking the
I don't know.
Rainbow too.
I-
Krabby's is no,
never
not
been
Rainbow.
in Krabby's. I've personally never been in Krabby's, but I've been in Packard's. I've been in Rainbow.
Krabby's flooded before I could go in too, so I
And-
never get the chance to
Oh,
go
that
there.
is right. It's in a basement dwelling.
Yeah,
It's
I've never been inside Krabby's.
yeah, it flooded.
It's
closed down.
It's not operating
It
anymore.
flooded.
That was like a
What
main
else?
attraction for Pendleton, and now it's all gone.
Yeah, it flooded the year I turned 21. I was
I
really
want to
sad.
say Cadillac Jack, but I'm not sure.
No, you can't smoke in Cadillac Jack. There's an outside smoking area that they have that's still
Oh,
part of the
yep,
bar, but
Now that you say that, and that's probably the same for right next to the Bare Bones, whatever that place is called.
Max.
Yeah, Max Bar and Grill. They have outside for smoking too.
Yeah, like I said, special permits for smoking in buildings,
Your
and
special permits.
that's like any building.
Here, any building. I don't need a special permit to smoke in my house.
Okay, I've smelt the smoke in Wild Horse, but I've never actually seen a smoking area in Wild Horse.
There is.
You can just smoke in Wild Horse,
No,
no
you
problem.
can't.
Yeah, you can.
No, they have-
It's got to be a certain
you
area.
smell it all
No.
over the place.
Yeah,
Yes, but it's
on the
gotta,
main
But
floor?
it's got to be in a certain area.
Yeah, they have no smoking sections.
So when I went to Northern Quest Resort and
That-
Casino,
The no smoking section though is kind of like the whole COVID thing. Like the smoke doesn't know it's not supposed to be in the no smoking section.
Well, of course, but like, I think the way you described it is better. There's a no smoking section, not a smoking section. Like you can smoke anywhere you want out there on the main floor, but there's like a couple places where you can exist that you're expected to be smoke free. But
I wish Ian was here because he would definitely be able to answer that question, yes or no, to that one. Is
just walking out on the
where
main
it is.
floor, you get immediately assaulted by smoke.
I mean, again,
see, but that's what makes me ask because I know there's a smoking section outside of the casino.
Oh, it's definitely inside.
But
There's people sitting at those terminals just chung.
there
So,
is
but
there
I-
is smoking inside the building. I
but
just
I
don't know if it's
went-
designated or not.
So I went to Northern Quest Resort and Casino last weekend for my bachelorette party.
Northern what?
Northern.
And I wasn't invited.
You weren't here in the first place. But
Why'd you have to schedule it while I was gone?
I didn't schedule
What
it.
kind of
I didn't even
party?
know we were going there until we got there.
Yeah, Lauren scheduled it.
Yeah, Lauren did all of it.
What the heck, Lauren? You know how wild I can be with the not drinking and
So because
probably other things you may have been doing.
we had one, I think me and Grace each had one drink, and that was all we had all night. But
Not that I'm getting married anytime soon, but if I do, me and the boys, we're going to Zero Latency in Central Oregon, and we're going to do the VR rooms they have in
that'd
there
be so much fun.
because they have combat simulations for zombie survival. They hook you up.
Can we just do
I would
that a
hate to
YMS
like
trip?
ask to be.
You just want to do it. You're
Yeah.
like, screw getting married. Let's just go do it.
Fine, we're not going to Astoria anymore. We're going there. How much does that cost?
It's I
Probably
think it's
a pretty penny.
it's expensive. It was like
Don't
$40
mess with that.
a
Hey.
game.
Don't
Get
mess with
out of
that.
the wipes.
Stop messing with those.
Sorry, it's in my face. You put it right in front of me.
All right, save up the pennies. We're gonna do this YMS trip. Save your receipts.
I think the hardest. Yeah, sure. There's no way.
There is.
The
I'm
most
telling
expensive
you.
part about it is probably going to be whoever has to pay for fuel to get us down there.
Save the receipts.
Also, I am so tired of going to Central Oregon. So
But at least this time you won't have to drive.
Okay,
I'll
but
drive us.
I like
I'll make
going to
Taylor
Central
drive us.
Oregon,
I'm so bored of
but
that
I
road.
go to Burns like all. I used to go to Burns all the time. So
What is it? Highway 95? Is that what it is? Highway 95 down there?
it's
I am-
$3.95.
It-
It's $3.95.
No.
$3.95 is what I take to go down to.
Central
Where?
Oregon.
Yes,
Like
$3.95.
Madras, Bend, Redmond. You take $3.95.
Oh no, I take $3.95 to go to through John Day and Burns.
I don't consider that Central Oregon. You're like still at Eastern Oregon at that point.
No,
Yeah?
it's still Central Oregon. It's just
Alright,
the eastern part of
all right,
the
you,
Central.
you got the clickety clacks. Look it up. That you said that's the whole reason why you brought that here. Here we go. We
Not
get to
wrong.
use it.
Where's my map?
Call it the clickety clack.
Maps.
Anyways, no, yeah, totally. We should totally do that. I'm down. How much does that cost?
I've told you stories about the games I played on those.
You did when you were out on COVID orders.
Yeah. Like the time I was able to slam
That
fire a
was
sniper rifle.
awkward timing. So her house does the rumbling thing, right?
Yep.
My legs started shaking as soon as it started rumbling. That was awkward timing.
Yeah, I was able to slam fire a sniper rifle in that game, which I thought was hilarious.
Please don't do that. Thank you.
Not everything requires your hands to just pokey poke 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 poke. You are in fact a child.
Paisley, you are adorable, but knock it off.
We need to kennel train you. Of course, the girl smiles when you hand her money.
Okay. So
Just like her mom.
you see Ben, yeah, right there.
I do see Bend.
Okay. That's
Thank you.
Ontario. Burns is right there.
That's Eastern Oregon.
Zoom out to the Oregon border, find out where it is. That is totally Eastern Oregon.
Burns is right there.
No, it's not. Zoom in.
You are going to wind up blocking somebody from our child that doesn't
That's
deserve
Riley.
to be
Riley.
blocked.
Burns is
Burns.
right there. That's not Central Oregon.
Yes, it is. It's right
That's
there.
a hop and a skip down the highway from Ontario. It's closer to Ontario than it is to Bend.
If it's not central, it's not in the middle. It's off to the eastern side of Oregon.
If you want to be that right, then neither is frickin' Ben.
No,
Bend
Bend
is-
is in the center.
Bend is closer to central
No,
Oregon than
Riley is in the frickin' center.
Hey, Bend is closer to central Oregon than Burns is.
Like,
Riley is the center of Central.
your equivalent on the west side would be Eugene. Bend, Madras, Redmond, all those things are
I wouldn't
Central
call it
Oregon.
Eugene. Eugene is closer to the coast than the Oregon border, than the Idaho-Oregon
No,
border.
no, I'm saying Eugene is the equivalent of Burns on the other side. This is considering how close it is to the edge.
Come on, kid. Stop pushing buttons on my phone.
Nampa's straight up in Idaho. No, Bend is.
So, 2023 was pretty good for movies,
Was it though?
up until just recently.
Oh.
Disney has put out...
There were some high-end
Well, not
movies.
Disney,
They just
not-
weren't all bangers.
I shouldn't say Disney. Like the big budget guys, they have put out some misses.
They
The
did.
Flash.
They looked like they were spectacular movies. They had a lot of entertainment value. They just did not sell as much as the value that they put in for them. They weren't bangers like the 3 videos we put on TikTok last night.
Go check out our TikTok.
Shameless plug.
No, like have you seen any of those? The Indiana
Studios.
Jones and say it
Don't-
again.
No, I have not
You
seen
better be very grateful that
any.
Ian's not here.
Why is
Ian
that?
Ian watched it.
Oh, did he?
Well, yeah, how do you think I watched it?
This is true.
I haven't
he,
seen any
He,
of
he
these
says,
movies.
"Hey, listen, I got to go watch Indiana Jones just to complete it." I said, "You know it's going to be garbage, right?" He goes, "I know, but I got to watch it, and I got to ask, can you go watch it with me? Because I'm going to need some support through this." I was like, "All right, buddy, I'll go." So we went and watched that absolutely horrible movie.
The Indiana Jones movie?
Yeah. But I'll say this, in comparison, so like character assassination wise, Indiana Jones is pretty bad. But in comparison to the Flash movie,
Yeah.
so I have pretty good movie theater etiquette. Sitting in a movie theater, I normally don't do a lot of talking. If I do talk, and it's usually quiet, you know, to my neighbor, you know, little whispers here and there, not to bother anyone else.
Mm-hmm.
I'm thinking maybe 20 minutes into the movie, I said out loud, "That's not how his powers work."
Mm.
I can just see people turning around to stare
Oh.
at you for that.
Yeah.
So what, they said his powers aren't from the Speed Force?
No. No, they did. They did. Okay? But if he's hungry, he starts losing his speed.
I mean, that's not that far of a stretch.
It really is. Like,
I wouldn't be mad at that, though.
he starts like really slowing down. You would if you saw the way that they illustrated it.
I mean, they're trying to do it live action. It's hard to do Flash live action to begin with.
Yeah, but did they really have to illustrate him putting a baby in a microwave?
Putting a baby in a microwave?
Yeah.
What?
Yep.
What does that have to do with anything?
That has to, yeah, right? That's what I'm asking.
Why did they put a baby in a microwave?
To save the baby from falling?
What? I'm so confused.
You think I'm lying? These are things that happen during the movie.
They put a baby in the microwave?
So Batman fighting guys who stole terroristic biochemical weapons, so on and so forth, right? Causes huge destruction on this hospital, okay? The Flash, really hungry,
Mm-hmm.
has to do the cleanup job, okay? Building loses integrity, starts falling. Flash needs to react and get things going, right? Flash starts losing his perception to the Speed Force. See, because when he reacts to the Speed Force, right, when he activates it with him, everything moves a lot slower. And he is able to move along with it, right? When he starts getting hungry, he gets slower and things start speeding up. Okay? So he's got to try to speed eat. So he bypasses these 12 babies that are falling, and a nurse,
Mm-hmm.
and a service dog that are falling, to break into a vending machine, to heat up this food, to eat it, and then things start slowing down more because then he starts speeding up because, again, that apparently is how the Flash's powers work. Not is based off his metabolism, not his connection to the Speed Force. Then, to save all the babies, he winds up putting them all in a line, and one of them has to go in a microwave. And then lays them all out, and then lays them all out on a gurney to gently wheel them out. One of them he puts in a microwave, dude.
One of them he puts in a microwave.
Yes.
To survive.
Yes. To survive falling. The fastest man. The man that moves faster than time itself.
Oh, I mean, to be fair, though, if we were applying any sort of real physics to this, all them people would be dead if he interacted with any of them. Actually, there was a Flash comic that kind of talked about that, where the Flash was running around, and he happened to pass by his wife, and he's like, "Man, I love that woman so much. I could just kiss her."
She's got a fingernail file or something.
Hey,
And
what are you doing?
But he comes to the
What's a
conclusion,
fingernail
I
file
should
and
not do
fingernail
that,
file?
though, because if I kissed her at this speed, she would explode.
Yep.
Just kissing her.
Yeah, they kind of touch on stuff like that, although they immediately abandon it in the movie as well.
Like the famous scene with Quicksilver in the X-Men movie where he saves everyone from the mansion.
He's got to hold.
Those people would still straight up die.
Yeah, well, I mean, like X-Men, was it Days of Futures Past or something like that?
I don't remember.
It's the one where Logan goes back in time, and they got to break Magneto out of the prison because he was being charged for the assassination
It's
of
got
JFK
Evan
when he
Peters
was
in it.
actually trying to rescue JFK. And he's got to hold Magneto's head. He's like, "Why are you holding my head?" So you don't get
Ew.
whiplash.
What? Whiplash. Sorry, I watched that
Whiplash.
scene the other day.
Yeah, Days of Futures Past or something like that.
I think it's yeah, I think it's that.
Yeah, it's but they touch on that one. There was an explanation in the comics as to why he can sometimes carry people at the Flash, not Quicksilver. I should clarify that we're jumping back into DC, where he is able to carry people and not destroy them, and that was because the Speed Force generated a like a protective barrier. It's the same reason why he can move at
That
such
makes
speeds.
sense. Mhm.
It's the same reason why he can move at speeds and not generate nuclear fission every time he runs.
Yeah, which a good example of that. I don't know if you've seen. What's the name of that show? It's that super brutalistic show where the guy that's like Superman, but he turns tail on the world and starts killing everyone.
Homelander? No.
No, it's the cartoon one. Super gory. He basically kills off that universe's Justice League.
Oh, yes, Invincible.
Invincible, yeah. Have you seen the one where he
We actually got in an argument about Invincible here on the podcast while you were on.
Yeah, you guys did.
where he flies through the portal and chases the aliens back to their homeworld?
And he winds
Starts
up flying
flying
so fast
through
that he's
there.
exploding
He's
air.
blowing things up. Yeah, he's creating nuclear fusion because he's flying so fast, he's forcing air molecules in front of him to fuse together because they cannot separate fast enough. That was a dope scene. I'd like to see it.
Yeah, it was really good. I like that one.
That was awesome. Oh, and he can just casually survive that, so. How does Superman not do that?
That's a good question because he doesn't have the Speed Force to create a slipstream to stop the atoms from fusing together.
How does he just not create nuclear fusion by flying? I'm sure someone somewhere has tried or attempted to give some sort of explanation. I have no idea. But Superman, if he's flying that fast, like people suggest he is, he should be blowing things up. It should be catastrophic. Catastrophic. Now would be a good time on the podcast, Telor Telor,
Listening.
to do a Would You Rather Powers edition.
This is true.
That would be pretty fun.
This is new.
Would You Rather Powers edition.
Okay. Oh, am I supposed to be looking this up? Okay.
You have the clickety clack.
Clickety clack.
Would
So-
You Rather Powers edition.
Oh, and the Flash movie just gets worse from there. I was 20 minutes into it. I will say this though: the one thing that I think they did well on was Savitar.
The God of Speed?
Yeah. So in DC Comics, Savitar, the God of Speed, was actually just a
Okay.
future time variant of the Flash himself.
I've found 10 of them. You ready?
Sure, let's hit it.
Would you rather be able to see through walls or hear things from miles away?
See through walls or hear things miles away?
Mm-hmm.
See through walls. Tony?
Yeah, I guess see through walls.
I'd rather see through. Well, I don't know
I'd rather see
Because
through miles away.
I'd rather
I
It's-
thought you were
see
going to
through miles
combine them
away.
for a second.
because if seeing through walls, you may see something you don't want to see. But if you hear things miles away, who knows what you're gonna hear?
Yeah, but can I turn that off?
Yeah.
It doesn't say
like-
whether you can or not.
I know, that
Did
sounds
you
horrible.
imagine you hear things miles away, right?
Do you know
But,
how
like,
many things you
are
can
they-
hear?
Are they like? Is it like noise cancellation? Like, can you not hear things up close?
No, it doesn't say anything about that. It
Cool.
just
So
says,
when Roundup happens, you're just deaf.
yeah.
I also can't really hone in on exactly what it is I want to
But
hear.
at the
out of
same
all
time, I
mess.
feel like seeing through walls would be great, especially with a kid.
Seeing through walls would be amazing.
You know how much money you can make from just seeing through walls?
I could be a magician.
This is true.
I
Yeah,
could be a
you
magician. I
could
could go
straight up-
do urban
I mean,
ops.
purses. They could be. You could just take a guess and you just gamble.
Yeah,
Yep.
that's true.
You could see through walls. You could see a lot of things that you're not supposed to see. And I don't know if I would ever see anything that'd be so horrific that I'd be like, I'm going to die.
Okay. Would you rather be able to fly or be invisible?
I'm just gonna suppose for this question that we can control whether or not we're
Yeah.
engaging with these powers. Because if I was just permanently invisible, that would suck.
Yeah.
I would. These are pretty relative.
I feel like being invisible has its perks, but if you can fly almost anywhere in the
Uh,
world you want to see. Or
I could really go either way on this one.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
I don't-
flying to me would have more application
Yeah. I would say I'd
than
rather
being invisible. If I was in like a combative type of situation, invisibility 100%. But
Well, it
like,
depends. You could use flying combatively too.
Well, yeah,
I would
but
rather
I
be able to
can't-
fly because like there's so many places around the world that I would love to go see that I can't afford to fly to. But if I could fly on my own,
yeah,
go make a day trip out of it.
yeah. If I'm looking in my everyday life, I can use flight a lot more than I can invisibility. Like invisibility, I'll use for almost anything, except for like breaking into places, which I don't do.
Yeah, I'll side with flying.
All right. Would you rather be the world's fastest runner or swimmer?
Runner.
I'll take running. I hardly swim.
I like swimming,
Watch out if I am the world's fastest runner. That momentum.
but he wouldn't even move around buildings; he just crashed through them. It'd be
I'm the juggernaut.
there'd be toner-sized holes in every building.
I would
all
be.
over the world.
I would be like the blurrish Kool-Aid man.
I feel like running.
You'd be me. Oh yeah.
I feel like running would be great because if you run fast enough, if you run fast enough, like if you were like had the fastness, you could just run across the water. Wouldn't even
Okay.
swim.
Well,
Yeah.
it's not
Buoyancy.
suggesting that. It's just saying the fastest person in the world. So Tony would be running faster than Usain Bolt, which would be hilarious.
Still, the momentum behind me on that one. Watch out.
Watch out.
Would you rather be able to walk through walls or breathe underwater? I would rather breathe underwater because there is so much under the water that I would love to see.
I don't want to go to the water though.
I like the water. I love the water.
Do not have the same fascination with water. I wouldn't mind
Probably
walking through
walls.
I wouldn't mind walking through walls.
I going under the sea does not appeal to me. I have no reason for it.
I've seen some of the ruins they've found under the sea, and I'm fascinated by ruins.
Like I'd be the world's best locksmith. I locked my keys in. Can you help me? Yeah, sure.
All right. Would you
I can also see through walls, so.
would you rather be able to teleport or see into the future?
Teleport.
I agree with teleportation because the future can be scary to see, so I'm not really sure if I want to see it.
How
I don't want to
like
live my life off of power that makes me feel like I need to use it constantly. Like that sounds like a power that becomes addicting and then life altering constantly.
See, I wouldn't want to see in the future because I like not knowing what's coming.
I love the idea of seeing into the future because I screw up a lot.
It's you'll become a slave to that power.
Yeah.
Have you seen the Rick and Morty episode where he gets that ability?
Yeah, yeah,
He just
with the
basically
crystal.
Starts living his life based solely off of what he can tell from the future. Like I don't want that.
I wouldn't want that either.
I don't want to be a slave to the future. I want to live in the now. I want to make my own choices.
But I mean, we're assuming that we can turn it on and off, right?
But you'll come to the point like
That
said,
you
it's an
want
addicting
to
power
use
that
it.
You're gonna leave it on and you're gonna keep using it.
Couldn't you say that
It
about
will corrupt you.
Couldn't you say that about teleportation too?
Yeah, but teleportation's not gonna dictate how my life choices are made.
It's just gonna
Seeing the
teleport you
future
from
is
somebody
100%
else.
gonna dictate my life choices.
I see your point on
I'd
that
rather
one.
Teleport. Teleport would be phenomenal.
I agree.
I can see your point on that.
Especially if I could fly.
Teleportation would definitely be. I could have application
That's
to
what
that.
they're doing in China.
Right? All right. Would you rather be able to walk through walls or create fire at will? I would love to create fire at will. I love fire.
You want to be a firebender?
Yeah, but I don't know what I would do with it. Like
I could if I could, I just light fire in my hand and watch it burn.
I have the ability.
I love
to
watching
light fires
fire.
at home with matches or lighters, or I even have a propane torch at my house. The amount of times I've needed them for literally anything has been so few and far between. Even if I had the ability to just project fire from my hand, like, cool. I don't know what I would do with this. But walking through walls has a ton of utility to it.
As we've already established
That's
earlier.
true. All right. Would you rather be able to read somebody's mind or make them forget things?
Read somebody's mind, 100%.
I would. I'm
Reading
mixed-
people's mind. I got that one.
Reading-
I-
I don't like the idea of making people forget.
yeah.
I'm skeptical about reading people's minds because there's so many things that they could be saying about you in their head that you're not going to like.
Yeah, but if I had to choose between that or making people forget, I'll
That's-
take reading minds.
That's true. All right.
Ethics aside, I will
I
take
agree with you guys. I'll read
the
that.
former over the latter.
Ethics aside.
All right.
I said ethics aside. If the question is this or that.
Yeah, but I mean, you're not putting ethics aside for that one. The
I am,
ethical.
because the question is this or that.
Yeah, but the ethical thing would be to not choose the one that makes people forget.
All right.
Well, but
'Cause then you're
also,
manipulating.
It's an invasion of privacy if I'm reading someone's mind.
All
That's
right.
an ethical issue.
Would you rather be
There-
able to run 100 miles per hour or drop from any height and land on your feet without getting hurt?
Well, this is. I guess the running one is assuming that I could just survive moving at 100 miles an hour through my own skeletal structure and muscles, and then if I were to wipe out, be perfectly fine. Because that would be a violent way to go. Like, hey, I can run 100 miles.
Yeah.
And now I'm
See,
just straight on
my
the road.
I'm not a big fan of hang time, but I would rather be able to,
I don't plan on
be
falling
drop-
anytime soon, so I'll take the running. I have no desire to just willfully fall
I-
off things.
I don't like hang time. Hang time freaks me out. That's part of the reason I don't like roller coasters. I don't like the feel of hang time and falling.
But I'm going to move a lot in life, so I'll take the 100-mile-an-hour run.
I agree with that. All right, Tony?
Tony?
Yeah, I'll take the running one because again, just like Kenny was saying, I don't see a whole lot of application of falling down and taking a hit.
Would you rather be able to jump as high as a skyscraper or climb up the outside of one like Spider-Man? I'd rather climb up a bit and freak people out.
So I can jump as high as
You
a
can
skyscraper
jump as high as a sky.
and land safely?
It just says jump as high
Or I
as a
can just,
skyscraper.
yeah, this is awesome. I didn't think this was...
Yeah, pretty much. It
Like-
doesn't. It doesn't
Like
say
how
whether
would
or not-
how would you be able to like test that?
There was a joke about that in Skyrim. If you get the DLC edition for the Dragonborn DLC...
Remember, you got to have that closer to you so people can hear you.
Do you remember the DLC?
Not like that.
Okay, so apparently there's a sweet spot where it can't be right here, but it can't be out here.
Yes. Well, no. Okay, so where you did have it, where you're like, it can't be out here, that was actually good. But
This is
leaving
fine.
it on the table and
This
you're,
is fine.
it's not fine.
This is not fine.
Dude, I'm looking at it right
is
now.
fine.
It's not fine.
This is fine.
It's not
This
fine.
is fine.
You're not
This
here
is
looking
fine.
at this.
They're going to hear me more than they're going to hear you.
What's up?
As I was saying before the chair guy was trying to chair guy me.
The chair guy is very demanding tonight.
Like, I
Chair
just
guy
want.
woke
I
up
just
on the
want
wrong
good
side of his
sound,
nap.
Okay. I didn't even want this job. I got it. So just
You willingly
You know
took up
what
that
else?
job.
I didn't want the job I got either, but here I am as the CFO. There's if you get the Dragonborn DLC, you find a guy that's trying to create a spell that allows him to fly, and it's a scroll, and he's like, "Oh, I finally mastered it. It allows me to go airborne. It's perfect. I could go anywhere I want." And so when you walk up to him, he says the magic incantation, and he flies through the air, and it's like, "Oh, that's probably the last I'll ever see of him." And you kind of do whatever you want, and then later on, comes falling back to Earth like a meteorite. And you read his body, and apparently he wrote a note whilst falling. And it says, like, "I finally achieved it, but the one thing I didn't anticipate is how to land."
that's hilarious.
So I
I
would rather not jump as high as a skyscraper.
Yeah.
I'll take climbing.
Yeah, like Spider-Man.
Yeah.
All right. Would you rather be
That
able
means
to
I can sit down upside down.
Dude, so many jobs at my house could be done because then now I can reach things.
Just the amount of, like, He basically like, it's crazy how he can cling to surfaces because he basically just alters reality with how it looks. Especially
See,
from
that's
that
part of the reason I like
that
the
Miles
Toby Mag-
Morales movie where they're sitting upside down. It, like I get that her hair's hanging the other way, but it doesn't look like anything else is affecting them.
See, that's part of the reason I like the when Tobey Maguire movies of him
Well,
doing
it-
Spider-Man because it shows, that he actually has
Yeah,
little
his
hairs on his
hairs
fingers,
are clinging to things.
Well, so
where
in
the
the
other guys don't.
no, Across the Spider-Verse it actually touches on that.
Does it?
Yeah, with the Miles Morales one, the
I haven't seen the new one. if
yeah, the
that's what you're
sequel, it
referring to.
actually touches on that one. And for the most part, you're right that it kind of just doesn't. It alters reality to fit their perspective because that's the way it's supposed to be, with the exception of her hair. But there's also that scene where she goes to sit down, and she actually needs to shoot webs behind her and pull herself to sit down because she's fighting gravity.
So I
And then their legs are just hanging up.
Quote unquote hanging.
So I-
They're just kicking them.
What?
Yeah.
Are you telling me they're just doing an ab workout, just trying to keep their legs up like that the whole time?
I wouldn't say that. I wouldn't think that was much of an ab workout for
Leave it
them.
that way.
No, thank you.
Leave it that way.
Oh, I thought you were offering that to me
No.
as like a joke.
See, I saw the end of it. I saw a clip at the end of the new one with Miles Morales, and I'm kind of curious to see what happens.
What are you looking for? That right there.
Oh,
Oh, I'm sorry. No, this one.
okay.
Yeah, this
So-
is our live stream. This is our recording.
So I'm very curious to see what happens, because I saw the end of it, but that's all I saw. I saw
It's a
I
good
saw
movie.
Bits and pieces.
Across the Spider-Verse is a good movie.
Is it?
Oh yeah, it is surprisingly well done.
For half a second, I
really-
thought your hand was up your shirt holding that, not just in your shirt sitting there.
I'm gonna buy you a
You're gonna
mic
buy me?
stand.
A mic stand?
Yes.
No, just get him a
and
headset.
But this
mic.
works.
all you need. No, because he'll mess up the headset
That's
too.
true.
I don't know what you're talking about.
All right.
So in the Miles Morales Spider-Man, how good a villain is Savitar?
He's a really good villain, like the best. Quite frankly, the best of all villains.
And I know villains because
All right,
I'm
well,
one of them.
villains. We've got
These
one.
guys, they tell me all the time.
We've got one more. Would you rather?
I want to see Trump explain why he's an expert on villains.
All right. Would you rather be able to move objects with your mind or make them disappear? I would rather be able to move objects.
Move.
Do you
Yep.
know how
They-
easy that would be,
Hold on.
especially when you're moving?
Move objects with your mind or what?
Make them disappear.
disappear. I can't make them reappear though. Like they're gone. They're erased.
I mean, I would love to
Make
be able
them
to
disappear.
move, like I said, move objects with my mind.
Move
you know,
is way,
do you
way more
know-
utility than
do you
disappear.
know
More
how-
utility on moving the telepathy than you do obliteration.
do you know how easy that would make
Hakai.
moving houses? You know how easy that would make moving and unpacking and packing for like moving different houses?
You know how
Or like
easy life
groceries
would
That
for
would
be?
my
be-
millions of children.
That would be great for moving that freaking thing.
It'd be great for moving me.
I'm just hang Kenny upside down by his toes.
Like I could
you can
move
you can
myself.
you can pull a chronicle
Telekinesis
and
is just awesome.
you can pull a chronicle and fly using
Yeah.
telekinesis.
Anything
Yeah.
in Chronicle you could do. Chronicle is a great example of why telekinesis is one of the best things ever.
Yeah, with telekinesis, could you imagine how quickly I could set up a stream?
I don't know if it would make you faster, but it would make the burden of labor less intense.
Well, so like I would be able.
It
to
doesn't
like,
allow you to have multiple minds. It doesn't make you a multitasker. It just means the burden of physical operation is less intense.
I am hindered not by my ability to mentally think of what it is, but to have to. I have two hands and that's it. But if I could mentally start setting up something and with my hands opening up boxes and with my mind plugging things in while I'm opening
I don't
up
know.
windows.
Having a mind that's capable of functionally doing multiple things all simultaneously is not something that telekinesis really brings to the table, because you still can only really focus on one task at a time.
No, if you already have the ability to do that, telekinesis would definitely help out because then you can use that portion to be able to move things while multitasking.
Don't forget to breathe, Tony.
What are you talking about?
Next one.
That was it. There was only 10 of them.
Oh, another one. Another one. Another one. Another one. Another one. Another one. Another one.
Okay.
another one. Those weren't even controversial powers. Those were like some pretty low-key, like, standard run-of-the-mill powers. Except for we didn't get things like super strength for some reason, but... Those weren't even that hard of questions. Usually we were able to arrive at our answer pretty quick. Speaking of powers,
Why aren't you?
I will take powers. Okay. I said it.
You'll what?
I'll take powers.
You'll take powers?
Take powers. I'll take some cool powers.
No one
Okay.
knows what you're talking about right now.
Would you rather?
Oh, I'm not talking to you guys.
Hello. Would you rather be Spider-Man or Batman?
Spider bad man. I'd rather be man. I don't know.
I
Each
have-
of them have a
listen.
lot of crap that comes with their life.
I'll say this.
I
I am like the perfect mix between Spider-Man and Batman, because on one hand, like Batman, I have no powers, and like Spider-Man, I have no money.
They
I
each have such tragic backstories.
Yeah.
I am not a fan of either of their backstories.
I like Spider-Man a little bit more than I like Batman.
It'd be entertaining to have the powers.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, like there was a comic book run where he actually used his powers and got as rich as Batman. Actually, he started his own corporation.
Unlike the one Spider-Man that tried to do a Spider-Man themed restaurant and it failed miserably.
Yes.
But being as smart as Batman would be pretty cool.
Okay. Would
Well,
you?
Peter Parker is arguably as smart.
I already know my answer to this
I
one.
don't know about that.
Would you rather be friends with Batman or Indiana Jones? I would rather be friends with Indiana Jones.
Batman.
I'd rather be friends with Batman.
I mean, but yeah, you could do so much with Batman because he's rich and
You
stuff.
could do everything with Batman you could with Indiana Jones.
Yes, but it would be a hell of a lot more fun without all the freaking gadgets.
How would that be more fun?
I don't know. I like death-defying things.
You know, he
so-
doesn't always have the
You
gadgets
like
with him.
death-defying
Actually,
things,
I
but
do.
they
I
scare
think
you?
it's fun.
Ride a roller coaster. Tell me that was fun.
he jumps out of planes without a parachute.
He got-
Indiana
he got
Jones
thrown
would
out
like
of a
to have
plane.
Batman as a friend.
He got thrown out of a plane.
Let me answer
Batman
that.
goes exploring and stuff like that without his gadgets.
Never seen him do it. All right. Would you rather be Batman or Iron Man?
Anecdotal.
It's not anecdotal.
No,
Oh,
anecdotal.
I was like, it's not. How do you think he became Batman? He went around the world learning to master every martial arts. He taught himself everything. He has a plus genius IQ, intellect, and a perfect recall.
That's very true. All right. Would you rather be Batman or Iron Man?
I'd rather be Batman or Iron Man. I would. I don't really want to be either one of those people. Their lives
Batman.
are pretty hard.
Batman, just so I can hang out with Alfred.
Nope.
But Jarvis has a sense of humor too.
Alfred is better than Jarvis. Period.
This is just because he's an actual human being.
No, it's because Alfred is better than Jarvis.
Oh,
So
okay.
who would you rather have as a butler, Jarvis or Alfred?
Alfred.
I think that's the question we're arriving at right now.
No. I think you would be better to have a Jeffa instead of a Alfred.
What?
You could be Batnut.
I suppose Batman, just because he's got the Bat family.
I think he would make a better Batnut than Batman.
Batnut.
Batnut.
Just tap her on her forehead till she goes away.
All right. Would you rather be a good person or a bad person in a superhero movie?
I'll take either one.
Yeah,
I am
honestly,
not-
I know.
I do not have a inkling
I was-
to either direction.
I'll say this.
I'd be a Loki.
It really depends on what movie.
I'd be a Loki.
In the words of Ian McShane, though, villains have the best lines.
I'd be
They
a,
really do, actually, except for Optimus Prime and Rise of the Beasts.
I would
He
be a,
has some bangers.
I would be a Loki. That's what I would be.
There's a banter between Scourge and Optimus Prime in Rise of the Beast.
Here's,
Scourge is like, I hate this stupid, miserable little speck. And
Right.
Optimus Prime is like, I can't think of a better place to bury your corpse.
all right. Here's
Oh,
All right.
Those things hit harder when it comes from somebody that's so like
So
peaceable.
good.
Yeah, so good, so peaceable. When it's somebody like, can you imagine if Rhonda said that to someone?
Right. That's what I'm talking about.
about. Someone that's so kind and caring.
If she bites you, I'm not gonna feel sorry for you.
When is the next showing for the Transformers movie tonight?
Tonight?
Yeah,
I don't
It's
know.
not in theaters anymore.
it's. I missed
Are you-
it.
Doubled up. Clickety clack.
I've already looked because Natalie had me look to see what was playing. It's not
playing anymore?
playing.
You missed it, bro.
Not even like Netflix.
It might be on
it-
Vudu.
It would probably be on
Here, let me
Prime
go.
Video, but you'd have to probably rent or buy it.
I'll check Netflix.
All right. Would you rather date a superhero or a supervillain?
Superhero.
Superhero.
Oh, I don't need that coming back.
Superhero 100%.
All
I
right.
feel like no matter which one I pick, the supervillains somehow are going to be involved. but-
All
Listen.
right.
I've already had that experience of dating a supervillain.
All right. Would you rather be a superhero or a supervillain?
Superhero. I don't have the mentality to be
All right. Would you rather
villain.
be a wizard or a superhero?
Superhero.
Would you rather be a wizard or a dragon?
I'd rather be a wizard. I don't want to
So
be a
it is-
dragon.
it's not on. It's not on Vudu.
All right. Would you rather be a Power Ranger or a Ninja Turtle?
Power Ranger. Like whoever says they'd rather be a Ninja Turtle than a Power Ranger is a moron. Okay, because to be a Ninja Turtle, you have to be a mutant. You have to be a turtle. There's the problem that you are a turtle. Okay,
There's nothing
you
wrong
got
with
the green
turtles.
snapping head.
There's
the giant
nothing wrong with
shells.
turtles.
You got the green snapping head, the giant. I mean, just like all that your entire life gone. Whereas you're a Power Ranger, you get super speed, super strength. You get neat little armor, and then you have the added bonus of you're still a human.
Would you rather be a Hulk or Superman?
Superman. Do you know how awful it is to be the Hulk? I love Hulk comics. He's an engaging character.
Yeah,
He's difficult to write, but he's super good to watch.
I
and
feel like
love seeing
arguing
something
with
like that
somebody else in
beat
your own
the
body would
snot
suck.
out of something. But to be Superman would be a better life. Bruce Banner would pick being Superman over being the Hulk.
Yeah, he hated being the Hulk.
Being the Hulk sucks nuggets.
You such nuggets. I like that.
We've already done that one. We've already done that
Yeah,
one.
you hate. Yeah, everyone hates the Hulk.
No one would want to be the Hulk.
In his universe, everyone hates the Hulk.
Love the Hulk as a story character. I love reading his stories. I love watching his movies. There's a lot to enjoy about the persona of the Hulk and the adventures he goes on. But I'd rather be Superman. 100%.
Done this one. Hold on. So some of these are the same as the last one they did. I'm reading through them. Hold on a second.
It's one of the
You're-
things that
you
makes
are
Hulk
now doing the
compelling. is
same
'cause-
thing
Here, would
No.
you,
that he's doing that I keep telling him not to do.
would you rather
What's that?
have?
She's got the mic sitting right over here like this.
Gar-
You guys are blowing
don't-
out the mics doing that.
Would you rather have
No. Yeah.
Would you rather have the
Okay.
powers of Superman or be rich?
What?
The
Say that
powers
again?
of Superman.
Would you rather have the powers of Superman or be rich?
With the powers of Superman, I would be so rich.
Yeah, I could attain
Are
one
you
with the
kidding
other.
me?
I could 100%.
I have
Here-
super speed, super strength, X-ray
I'm pretty sure I
vision,
know your
heat
wife's
vision,
answer to this
frozen
one.
Okay,
breath,
okay,
flight.
Tony.
Yes.
9:15 in Hermiston or 9:40 in Walla Walla.
Are you planning on taking me to a movie tonight?
It's Friday night. That's why we moved these to Friday night. So I don't have to pick between the two.
I was going to say, first off, that's not why we moved them to
It's
Friday night.
100% why I moved it to Friday
That's
night.
the reason why we moved them to Friday.
No, that's the reason you brought to me, and the reason
Okay,
I moved it to Friday night was so that we didn't have to worry about how late we were staying.
Okay.
Otherwise, why didn't we move it to Wednesday night? I would have said no to Wednesday night, but why didn't we move it to Wednesday night?
I offered Wednesday first.
Okay.
You want to go too?
If Dusty gets here and says I can, if
We're not going to be
gonna
able
have
to make
to-
Hermiston if we're going to make the normal time.
Which is what?
9:15 in Hermiston. It's 9:40 in Walla Walla.
Yeah, we're not making the 9:15.
All right.
We're gonna have to go to Walla Walla again. Super late, but we've done this
I know your
before.
wife's answer to. I'm pretty sure I know Christina's answer to this one. But would you rather be able to fly or get anything you want off of Amazon for free?
Fly. I'm not so like desperately
Like-
attracted
like-
to have things.
Like, is this like a reoccurring anything off
Yes.
of Amazon for free, or is this like a
Yes.
one-time deal?
No, this is reoccurring. Like I said, I'm pretty sure I know your wife's answer to this.
Here, if I can fly though, and I can turn that into a lucrative business, money is not an issue for me anymore. So it basically grants me the power of the other one without having chosen it.
I would take the Amazon deal
I'll take flying.
because I can. I mean, yeah, you can turn flying into a.
You can't
lucrative-
pick flying on Amazon, but I can get money
You-
with flying, which will allow me to
you
pick
can-
anything on Amazon.
You can no. You can
100%.
get.
I'm not gonna let you talk.
Wow, you're turning into an Ian tonight. Okay.
I was gonna say is like you
No.
can can make money flying, yeah, but I can make money easier selling the stuff off of Amazon.
But at the end of the day, I'll
fly.
fly and you can't, and I will have all the money I want. Even if you have all the money you want, I can have
I'm
all the
sure,
money I want.
I'm sure eventually they'll have jetpacks on Amazon. I'll get that for free. Then I'll see you up there.
And I won't have to pay for
Ooh,
fuel.
here's a good one. Would you rather be a villain with 3 superpowers or a hero with 1 power?
I'd rather be a hero with one.
Are they like 3 full-powered superpowers,
Yes.
or are they fractioned?
3 full superpowers.
I don't want to be a villain. Nope. Got enough of that going on with people that don't have powers.
I'm not sure if I have it in me to be a villain. Like I would like the 3 powers, but
I was watching my friend play DC Universe. Ooh. Dang, that sucks. It was just a plastic cover, but hopefully she doesn't rip the pages inside the book, though. We're going to find out.
She meant to rip the cover.
Oh.
Anyways,
I was watching my roommate play DC Universe, where you basically get to make your own villain
I've played it.
or hero, and she played a villain, and she was doing all the villain missions, and it made me feel like I wasn't even the one playing. It made me
Go
feel
through this
horrible listening to the things that she was doing and how people were reacting to her. Like, why? Why are you hurting me? This hurts. Please stop. Like, why do you play this game and listen to this and just feel all right?
You would never play GTA then.
Okay. Would you rather live forever or live for only 50 years?
I'll take the 50 years.
I'd say 50 years. I wouldn't want to live past everybody, especially my kids, and watch my
Or
kids
like
die.
the cataclysmic heat death of the universe.
Yeah, I wouldn't like that.
I'm gonna live forever, even when there's nothing to live for.
See, I would
Hey, Dad, I'm watching now. Who is this?
one of your kids apparently,
All right,
because I ain't got
which
no
one
kids.
are you? Call out your number. You're 1 through 7. I need to know.
Wow, we're calling kids by numbers now. Okay.
If I mess up the names 3 times, I call them by their number.
Wow, Tony. The fact that you have to. Well, I mean, you do have.
I
a lot
don't
of
lie.
kids.
I don't lie to my kids at all for anything. I tell them.
It also keeps
I
the
tell-
privacy over the podcast.
Yeah, but you know, as
Yeah.
soon as they say the number, he's gonna go like, hi," and then whatever name it is. Okay. Would you rather have who would you rather have as a father, Batman or Superman?
You say Fat Man or Superman?
Batman.
Oh, it's number
Oh.
1.
Who would I rather have
I
as a
think-
father?
You were worried about me saying it.
I know.
I don't know. I'll take either one. I guess I'll side with Superman just because he actually.
Ezekiel, ask Christina if I can go to the movies tonight.
Wow.
I'll
and
I'll
you
take
can't
Superman
just
as a
message her.
father.
Okay.
He has a sense of humor.
No, I can't. I can't just message her. I'm working.
You message her anyway, normally.
Next question.
Hold on, I'm looking.
Who'd you rather have as a father, Batman or Superman?
Would you rather live in a world with magic
Batman.
or without
I
magic?
pick Superman.
What?
Say your
Would
question.
you rather live in a world with magic or without magic?
We already live in a world without magic.
If you had the choice to have magic, would you
I'll
take it?
take it. We'll see where this takes us.
Yeah.
I'll try magic. See what
Alright.
happens.
Would you rather be as rich as Iron Man or as good looking as a Captain America?
As rich as Iron Man?
I would take the rich as Iron Man.
I would agree with this. Would you rather be Thor or Loki? I am definitely Loki.
Wait, what?
Would you rather be Thor or Loki?
Which Loki?
Just says Loki.
Because if we're talking like MCU Loki, no. Well, and then even then, you got to divide up which MCU Loki you're talking about. Phase 1 MCU Loki, which was a boss, or Phase 4 MCU Loki, which is a twit.
Or just different comic book variations of Loki. Different powers and whatnot. I'll take
And-
Thor, I
and
suppose.
Thor's pretty consistent.
Yeah, Thor's consistent. Also, I'm more attracted to what he's capable of versus what Loki's capable of.
Alright. Would you rather live
I'm not a tricky illusion kind of thing.
Would you rather live in Gotham City or Metropolis?
Metropolis.
I would rather not live in any city, but I'll take Metropolis because Gotham sucks.
Gotham is like,
A cesspool
So
of
you-
evil.
if you take the worst ghetto and then turn that into a city, that's Gotham.
If I could live in
The
Gotham
sun never
City, I would
shines
go
there.
work at Arkham Asylum.
There is no sun.
Why? So
In
you
Gotham.
could become Harley Quinn? You don't go work
You're
in
gonna fall
Gotham.
in love with a
you don't,
psycho.
You don't work in Arkham Asylum. You
I
become
understand why you would
Arkham
live there
Asylum.
because Dusty would have a job there all the time.
Oh, you're hurting me.
You would move there just because Dusty would always have a job.
Well, I mean, one can say that about Metropolis as well.
But not as often.
Are you kidding me? With all the fights that Superman gets into, construction jobs are so prevalent there.
Would you rather watch superhero movies or read the comics?
I could do either one. I could go either way. I'm not attracted more to one or the other.
Would you rather watch superhero movies in order or in any order? I like them in order.
I like them in order too. It allows for context.
I was gonna say it depends on the movie series, but like if you're watching the MCU, watching it in order kind of matters.
Yeah, but I'm not watching Star Wars in order.
Correct.
Yeah, Star Wars is.
Because if you watch it in order, you're starting on episode 4.
Well, in order of creation, but in chronological order,
The
Still
first
might
three
not
movies are
watch it in
in
order.
pretty well order. The first three movies are pretty well in order.
So the first 3 movies are in order, okay? Then the next 3 movies are in order. And then the last 3 movies are an abomination. We don't speak about those.
This is true. I like the
are
original.
disorder.
You guys can hate me all you want. I like the original first 6 movies of Star Wars, and that is it.
Who would hate you for that?
Why would we disagree with you? on
Because
that?
there's so many people that like the new versions of Star Wars
Like
better.
you.
Well, there are so many people that are wrong.
Even our fourth
Stop
horseman would not care about the last 3 movies. This round table would be in total alignment on that one decision.
And that would be the only alignment we would
That
all
would be
in.
probably about the Do you see? You see the
Here,
hatred
hold
for
on.
the sequel
Where's my
trilogy
phone?
is a
United
unifying
us.
factor.
I need to know. I'm going to text Ian.
But what's your opinion on the sequel trilogy?
We're at 123.
Time needs to speed up. We're gonna haul balls down to who wants to drive?
I can't take my van. I can't guarantee it'll make the trip.
My
Also, I don't have room for everyone because
my car would take it, but I need gas money.
Okay. Well, how big's your car? Have you been in a car?
yeah, it's 4-door.
Is it clean?
For the most part, yeah.
It's more spacious than taking the Focus to Salem for the film festival.
Okay, we can take your car. That should be fine. I'm not putting mine up because mine's like covered in garbage everywhere.
You need to ask your better half.
I'm waiting for him to get home. He should be home soon.
Because
Don't mind us on the podcast just deciding what we're gonna do after the podcast.
I know, right?
yeah, we just got so much dead time just there
He
talking
hasn't
about
looked at it.
our
He has not looked at it yet.
Well, no, he's probably busy.
Stop touching it, isn't it?
What's that?
Isn't his mom in town?
No, he's out of town.
Oh,
Who?
Ian.
Ian. He's out of town. He had a
Oh, yeah, he is
he
out
had
of
an
town.
engagement
Is he
that he had
still
to go
over
do.
there?
Yes.
How long does it take for him to be over there?
Well, I would explain that, but that's personal information.
Taking forever.
So, He said he would be back in time for the next podcast, which
It's just me. And
also will not be including Kenny or myself.
We're
which
gonna
means
be very,
it will be.
very busy next Friday.
I have a feeling,
Or so I've been told.
like I
I was
said,
also told I was going to be busy this week, and look at how that went down.
That's because a couple of people didn't wound up.
my
not
worry
showing.
about next week is the fact that me and he finally looked at it.
You guys are gonna have to figure it out.
Oh no, it's Christina texting me. I thought it was Ian. It's your wave.
You guys are gonna have to figure it out. What she said. Well, that's very nice of her.
Was it, though?
Yes.
Oh, I couldn't see it. I thought
Yeah,
you were being sarcastic.
she said she can watch P if I need her to.
Wow, that is nice.
Yeah, that's very nice of her.
Hey, don't touch
What
that.
is she going to ask for in return now, is my thought.
Usually I watch.
It's like
Yeah.
Gabriel Iglesias joke. They're like, hey, honey, I'm going to go to the bar with
Okay.
friends. Are you okay with that? Yeah, sure, have fun. And they're like, oh, she's okay with it. What is
What
she
is she
doing? what is she doing? Wait a minute.
Hold on a second.
Hold the phone.
128.
Ah.
Dude, it's only been 2 minutes. And
I
you
know.
checked
We're
last.
going to have to drive
Do we need to cut this week short?
uncharacteristically fast.
And then
No.
just-
No.
see, and that's my worry about next week is that me and Ian are gonna run out of things to talk about and end up cutting it
You
short.
You have a whole week to prepare.
You an
Me and
entire.
Ian don't talk.
You are going to have to figure it out.
You chose this family.
Did I though?
Yes,
You
did.
did.
You did. We all
You
sat down and said,
100%.
"Hey,
I'm pretty sure our probation period's over too.
it is now."
Ha! Ian can't kick me out just because he wants
It,
to.
it was 2 weeks ago, I think.
I don't remember what
I
the
don't
date
know.
was.
It started in February, so I think it was about 2 weeks, 120 days.
I wouldn't break those. Tony's gonna kick your little butt.
Please don't. Please don't. Those are mine. Thank you.
Oh. It didn't get a very good score from Rotten Tomatoes or IMDb.
What is that?
The Transformers movie Rise of the Beast.
I
Well,
am
that-
going to step away from the table for a second and actually call my significant other and
Yeah,
find
you got
out
a
where he is
54%
because I
Rotten
know
Tomatoes
the
and a
screens
6.5
on the
out of
crusher
10.
broke today, so he might be late.
Well, I don't know why it's got such a low score on IMDb, but the Rotten Tomato score you got to be careful for because
The audience
yeah,
score is
see?
91 though.
I was gonna say, you don't go off the critic score. Never go off the critic score because the critic score lies all the time, man. You go off the audience score. On the tomato meter, I'm telling you right now, out of everything that I've done, because they said that TLJ. If you looked at the things, TLJ, the critic score, gave it like a high one, but on the audience score, it was hot garbage.
I wonder if IMDb has an audience score.
I think IMDb only runs off of audiences, because you have to like be registered as an IMDb user in order to.
This takes place during the 90s?
Yes, it is the sequel to the Bumblebee movie. So it's basically a retcon, or it's a new universe.
So this doesn't take place in the normal
It's not
Transformers.
the Bayverse.
Okay. The Metascore is only 42. Well, we're gonna find Pete Davidson is in it.
Yep.
That's hilarious.
And
Oh,
that-
he's the voice. That's okay.
So he actually does a good job. I don't really like Pete Davidson as an actor or a person, but in
I
this
think his skits are funny though.
in this particular role, he does a great job. Actually, I enjoyed.
Ron
I
Perlman
enjoyed
is
it.
Optimus Primal.
Yes.
Ron Perlman. That's
Yes.
dope. Of course, Peter Cullen's Optimus Prime. We can't have Optimus
Right,
Prime.
right.
It's like when if Peter Cullen dies, Optimus Prime dies. Just like how when help me. When
Don't do that with the mic.
I said help me, not critique me.
I don't. I. What voice are you referring to?
Batman.
Oh, Kevin Conway.
Yeah, when he died, when Kevin Conroy died, Batman died.
Yeah.
He was the best Batman.
He really was. He
the
played.
best
He
Batman.
played the best Batman, just like Mark Hamill plays the best Joker.
I don't know about that one.
I'm sticking to it. I don't care what anyone
I
says.
don't think he was the best Joker. He was a good Joker, but I don't think he was the best Joker.
I think he was the best Joker.
I'll take a Heath Ledger Joker.
Heath Ledger was a great Joker.
I will take Heath Ledger Joker and Kevin Conroy as Batman.
How wouldn't that be a crazy movie?
That would be a great something. I don't know how that would look.
So they were going to come out with a Batman Beyond with Terry McGinnis movie, right? They said that it was dependent on the success of the Flash movie, which I think is grossly manipulative of the studio to do, because it was basically just like, hey, if you want this because you like this, if you want this, then you have to come watch this. I was like, but we don't want this. I don't care. If you want this, then they're forcing us to eat liver and onions before we have our ice cream. And I hate it.
Let me introduce you to the people. So I'm running a campaign on Saturdays
All right.
at a friend's house. I'm going to be the DM. My players have just recently, as of today, decided on the races. We're not so settled on classes yet, but the races they're going to play. I have one who's going to be a plasmoid, which is basically a slime.
Yeah.
They're playing a slime.
Flubber.
And this guy has already decided what class he's going to be. He's going to be a multi-class druid and monk as a slime. So, he's going to be a Way of the Living Weapon monk and a Circle of the Forge druid. What that means is that he's going to make his body into a magical weapon, and he can transform into metal animals. That is what that offers him. The perks granted by Way of the Living Weapon monk transfer over to the animals he transforms to because of his forged druid domain. Circle, I should say. That's more accurate. So he's going to have magical unarmed attacks as a metal animal that he chooses. His base race is a slime. It's super funny. He's like, I'm a slime. Now I'm a hulking monstrosity metal animal that has magical unarmed attacks.
I'm a slime. Now I'm Magical Optimus Primal.
Yes. I have another player who is going to be I'm probably going to get this wrong, but I think the race is called Leonin, which is a lion person, a lion humanoid, and he's a samurai. The backstory he gave this guy, you're gonna recognize some of the stories he borrows from. Kid you not, it goes like this.
All right, let's hear
He
this.
was the prince of a lion pride. His father was the king. His father was killed by his uncle. He ran away to survive. His uncle became the new king of the pride. That's story number one.
So, Hamlet.
Lion King.
Macbeth.
Hey Taylor, can you switch with Tony? How he got away though is that his mom put him in a basket and floated him down a river. Moses. He was raised by somebody else. It wasn't the queen, so grant him that much.
Mowgli.
No. Then he was trained. I don't know. He changed this part, I think, because originally he wanted to be a knight. Now he's a samurai. But his original backstory was that he was trained by Arthur in swordsmanship. His character's name is Achilles. So we can see all of the inspiration that he's just shopping cart right now.
This guy does things like I do.
One of the funniest things that he did was I played and this is my first ever Star Wars campaign. I played a reptile species called the Trandoshan, and my backstory was I was a pit fighter, and I was all about brawling, and I was super strong. This friend of mine comes in to play a campaign. He's like, hey, I want to be a Trandoshan pit fighter that's all about brawling. And he knew what my character was and decided to be that. That's not what the very first thing that he ever was that he was a Force-sensitive Wookiee.
A Force-sensitive Wookiee.
Yes, it was supposed to be a Jedi Wookiee. And then he
Not
he
unheard
didn't like
of.
the character. He redesigned it. Still didn't like it. Had his character get killed off so that he could be a Gungan. That was also a Force sensitive, but was kind of a cross between a martial artist and a gunslinger. And then he put that character down to play in a different campaign because I was a player in those campaigns alongside him. And then I became the GM, and our GM joined in as a player. And I was like, all right, who does everyone want to be? And he's like, I want to be a Trandoshan pit fighter. So I see the inspiration you're pulling from. I'm going to be honest with you. I'm very familiar with your character. Putting that down, I have another player who wants to be a goblin. She wants to play a goblin.
Goblins.
We don't know what class she's going to be. She's thinking rogue. Her mind's currently set on rogue, but she wants to be a goblin. So, that's the bridge she's going to have to cross when she gets anywhere.
Don't let Ian meet her.
Then my other player, my last player, is going to be a Harengon, which is a rabbit folk from the Feywild. And he wants to be, I think the prevailing theory right now is he's going to be a mastermind rogue, but his whole deal is that he's going to be like a wandering auditor, and he's going to have fun just auditing people and their businesses. And he's crazy because he's constantly having glimpses into a different reality, and it's going to be like in the 90s workspace reality where he sees cubicles and fax machines, and so he keeps having visions of this thing, and it's affecting him while he's walking around doing things. It's the kind of humor he has,
That's awesome.
where he's constantly like, what's a fax machine? Why do I know this? What's a fax machine? Or he's going to be like, interview. I'm going to be late for an interview. Why do I care? What's happening right now? Anyways.
I have him wake up in the middle of the night one day. Emails!
Emails. What's an email? Oh no. HR department. No. It's an HR department.
That sounds like something horrible.
I feel like it's just a black hole of fun. Or something similar. Anyways. So that's the crew. I have to come up with a campaign for this.
Good luck, dude. At least with ours, it was genuinely easy.
You can do anything with a group of people that don't know what they're doing. The thing is, one of the players, the guy that's playing the lion, the Leonon, if that's what it's called, he's new. He's never played D&D before. So he's going to require a little bit of maintenance, a little bit of hand-holding, so that we can enjoy, play, have fun together. But I told him already, it's like when you guys made your characters, you were tripping acid. You tell him. You tell him. Taylor, what are you doing? Because I hear a phone and your daughter's in here with us, so. Sounds like he's not going to be here for a little bit then.
Yeah.
What are we looking at?
140.
We're so close. We're going to need to haul.
So you should probably get
Huevos.
ready and get her ready right now. You should probably get ready and get her ready right now. So that way, as soon as we end this, we can just leave.
Just move it.
Just bounce.
I like to
Move it.
move it. You got me. You got me. He was right
Dude,
there.
so speaking of songs and,
And
things
moving
like
it.
that, I never
Well, you
realized
guys
this.
continue this competition, and I will go change.
Okay.
I never realized this,
Have a good night.
but there
I'm
was
gonna say
a-
peace out to you, even though we're gonna hang out for the next several hours.
Yes, goodbye.
Goodbye, comrade
Goodbye,
Taylor.
comrade.
Allez
Okie
voir.
dokie.
Say hello to Stalin for me.
So there's a company back in the day that used to rewrite like anime songs and things like that for an American version. It was called 4Kids. I didn't realize. What are you looking at? Okay. I didn't realize that that was like its own separate studio that did that for that did that for songs for Americanized things.
Mm-hmm.
They came out with like some amazing music. The Pokemon theme song,
That was for kids.
that was for
Not
kids.
the cartoon.
I want to be the very best.
Not the cartoon like TV guys company. Not that for kids. It's a totally separate for kids.
Yeah, 4Kids. It's called 4Kids. Number 4, KIDS, for like Saturday morning cartoons.
So it is the cartoon show company.
Sure.
So this isn't a separate company.
Well, no. So
the 4
all right,
kids.
So the cartoon show that would put that out, okay, that wasn't the studio that was promoting the thing like Funimation and things like that. That wasn't a. Thank you. Turn that off.
Yeah.
That wasn't the studio. That was that's the studio that bought the license in order to air it on TV. Okay, but then to make it the title, title intros and things like that to make them more palpable for American audiences, they came out with an Americanized version of the theme song. That
Mhm.
was 4Kids that did that. So that's the reason why 4Kids would show up on there, because 4Kids was actually just music entertainment. And that was their whole job.
4 kids did a lot of. I'm forgetting the word right now. But when they would censor a lot of shows that they aired, because they would take a lot of animations from Japan and whatnot and make them like kids cartoons, but they censored heavily tons of content that came across their streaming platform.
Oh yeah, like Dragon Ball.
Dragon Ball, Yu-Gi-Oh was censored, crazy. Even things that didn't need to be censored, like rice balls.
I don't remember that one.
There was an episode. I don't remember what they said it was. It was like, oh, cheeseburger, and it's a straight rice ball.
I don't know why that. Yeah, they did some questionable and controversial things, from what I understand, which is why they don't really operate anymore.
Don't
But-
watch the 4 kids version of anything.
The theme songs though that they came up with were the best.
What other theme songs did they come out with?
Like Digimon, the Digimon
They
theme
did
song.
the Digimon one.
They did the Digimon theme
Oh,
song.
that was a banger.
Dragon Ball Z theme songs. They did those.
Really?
Yeah.
How many of the Toonami shows did they do?
I don't know on that one. Cowboy Bebop.
Wow.
Yeah, they did that one. You
These guys
see,
are responsible for a lot.
yeah, they did a Sonic X. They did a lot of those ones but they were only the ones that were gonna air on like Saturday morning cartoons and things like that. Toonami just bought the licensing to air them at a later time
Mm-hmm.
for Cartoon Network.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that's how. I mean, that's the differences between the two of them. But yeah, 4Kids was basically just Funimation, and it was they did do some things that were a little weird, but I love the theme songs, especially when they went ahead and aired or One Piece. The One Piece theme song.
Yeah.
Yeah, they changed that
They
one.
nerfed a lot of One Piece.
Yeah.
The censorship in One Piece was extraordinary.
But the theme song was a hit.
The censorship they put in Naruto too. Yeah, the comic, the manga for Naruto is a lot more gruesome than how it's depicted in the animation.
I mean, a lot of the manga is a lot of manga for American animation is like when it airs in America, it's really nerfed compared to what it is in the manga because they don't
Speaking
have
of
the same
anime.
censorship laws there.
I've been watching this anime lately called Mashal.
It's called what?
Mashal. Like, imagine saying muscle, but instead of the U, it's an A.
Mashal.
Mashal.
Okay.
Let me give you the
Elaborate.
context of what this anime is, because it's hilarious. Imagine
All right,
if
run it down.
the guy from One Punch Man, Saitama, went to Hogwarts. So instead of Harry Potter,
What?
it was Saitama, but as a teenager. It is wildly funny. The first season's already out. I've watched it.
Where do I find this?
I'm not entirely sure. I kind of outsourced my friend to have me watch it, and I'm not entirely sure if his sources are reputable. But I watched it through him, so I'm not going to promote anything shady. I just know that a friend brings it to me, and he says, "Hey, watch this," and I'm like, "Okay, cool."
All right.
And
Fair enough.
it's then this person just blatantly rips off Hogwarts. Like, there's broomstick riding with Quidditch matches. Like, I don't know what they call them actually off the top of my head, but it is. There's broomstick riding where people have to throw balls through 3 different sized hoops.
That's totally Quidditch. Yeah.
It's straight up that. Yep. And the whole idea is that the first thing we see in the series is there's this guy, and he's been told he's a complete failure his whole life because he's super weak in magic. He was born with weak magic. Nothing's ever going to change that. Everyone looks down on him. He's a constant failure at everything. And he's going to jump off a building at one point. He's like, there's nothing to live for. I hate this society. He's going to take the dive. Then he hears crying. Looks behind him. There's a baby laying there. And he's like, you know what? I have something to live for. I got to take care of this guy. And he notices, because in the society you get marks on your face that tell you in the caste system where you lie because of your magical capabilities. This child has no face marking. And what that is supposed to indicate to us as an audience is that he has no magical powers. And this guy decides, you know what? I'm going to live. You most certainly deserve to live. I'm going to teach you how to live in life without magic. So what we as an audience get a compilation of is this kid growing up super beefy.
You
Like
said Mashal?
Mashal, yeah.
Okay. It sounds a lot like Black Clover, but go on.
It has similarities to Black Clover, but this guy doesn't have a grimoire. He doesn't summon swords. He doesn't wipe out other people's magic. He's just...
I love Black Clover, but go on.
Black Clover's amazing. I love Black Clover. TikTok ruins a lot of Black Clover for me, but...
I have yet to see any Black Clover on TikTok. I do own, I think, the first season on my Xbox.
I see so much Black Clover on TikTok. But what he does is he goes... he has this thing for cream puffs. So he goes, his father tells him, hey, I need you to stay here. No one can know that you're alive. I'm going to go out to the city. Stay here. And he's like, okay, I will. Goes in the city to get cream puffs because he has a weak spot for cream puffs. He gets noticed. The town guard get called upon him. And he basically humiliates the town guard. Then he goes home. The town guards show up, start roughing up his father. He comes back from working out, which he does a full routine in 15 minutes. And comes back, finds the guard beating up on his father, humiliates them all over again. And the town guard are like, wow, I never believed that somebody without magic could humiliate us. Here's what we'll do. We won't arrest you or do anything if you go to the academy. Something to that effect. And he's like, sure, I'll do that, as long as you leave my father alone. So, and then it kind of turns into a comedy because then this one officer basically lives with his father, and they come in from time to time to check up on him, and they become his cheering squad almost as he's going to the academy, which is basically Hogwarts. He does things like broomstick riding, and a lot of people don't know he doesn't have powers, or they just reason that his power is to enhance his own physicality. So when he goes to broomstick riding, they're like, all right, we're going to have a race from this side of the field to the other. On your mark is set, go. And in the blink of an eye, he just appears on the other side of the field.
He just runs across.
And they're like, how did you do it? And one of the students is like, I don't know if I saw that right. And because there's a lot of explaining in this anime. And he's like, what I think I saw was that he just javelined his broomstick and then jumped went faster than the broomstick, caught it midair, and then landed on the other side of the field. But that's not the craziest part about it. When he actually starts competing in the Quidditch matches, he kicks the air so fast he can hover. And then when he throws the ball, he's able to put so much spin on the ball that it boomerangs back to him after going through the hoop. So he hovers in place by kicking the air. And then he throws the ball with enough spin that it goes through the hoop, comes back, and then he just throws it again. And he scores several points doing that. Just ding, 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 throwing it with spin so that it boomerangs back to him. There are so many fights where he just punches people to end the whole fight. There's a guy that's able to conjure up stones from the ground, and he defeats one of Mashlow's friends by stabbing him. They have a competition where, like, all right, I get to hit you 10 times, or you get to hit me 10 times, and then if I survive it, I get to hit you 10 times, and the first person to give up loses. And his friend falls for it. He hits the guy 10 times. Turns out he can encase himself in rocks, and none of the attacks hit him. And he's like, all right, my turn. And then he shoves rocks up from the ground and starts uppercutting the dude with stone, and the guy can't survive it, so he falls over. And so Mashal comes in, and he's like, all right, you get to hit me 10 times, and then I get to hit you 10 times. And the guy's like throwing stones at him, and they all just shatter off of him. And he's like, all right, my turn. And he hits him once, and the guy's like, no, I don't think I can survive any more of this. I give up. This is impossible.
That's like that. I love that. That does remind me of that Black Clover episode when the dude's like, he's got all the magic after. Oh my gosh, what is his name?
Asta,
Yeah,
the main
yeah,
character.
Asta. He's like, he's got all this magic, and he's like, it's necromancy is what he is, and so he just Asta, he just walks up and punches him in the face, and he's like, wait, hold up, that's not part of the rules. He's
What?
and I'm like, please stop now. I don't understand.
What a great ability to have in a world of magic. Is
Yeah.
the ability to just cancel other people's magic.
Yeah.
That is so good.
Yeah, and that's all that he can do. He could just it's Danny Mata he's a YouTuber that I watch.
Mhm.
That's actually how I got introduced to Black Clover. He's got an excellent analogy. It's like the world of Black Clover is if everyone everyone is in a tournament of like Magic the Gathering, right?
Mm-hmm.
And Asta is like if he shows up to that tournament with a pair of scissors and just starts cutting people's cards and then punching them in the face.
It's yeah. He just basically makes people's entire beings, their strategies, everything that they built up, useless
Yeah.
against him.
Yeah.
He can just cut through it. He can make it disappear, vanish. You can do a full throttle, everything you have attack like a Kamehameha, and he'll just nope.
Everyone has devoted their entire life to this one ability, this superpower.
Mhm.
They've never done anything else. Whereas Asta has worked out
Yeah.
like rock solid the entire time. He's just like, okay, if I'm not gonna have magic, then I'm just gonna be a man.
I'm just gonna be swole.
and no one knows how to react to it because they're like,
Yeah.
I can't fight this guy the only way I know how. And he's
Yep.
like, let me introduce you to what did you guys call it, like Bunker and Buster or something like that?
I mean, you could go get some brass knucks from Bloodbath and Beyond. It is amazing. There's a character in Mashal because they have interdormitory feuds,
Yeah.
and Mashal is sent to go help defeat a bunch of guys from another dorm that's totally not like Slytherin. Because they kidnapped one of his friends, and so they're fighting a bunch of guys that are like different ranked individuals from this dorm, and he's fighting the ranked 2 number guy, and the ranked 2 number guy has what's called I believe it's called the evil eye, and what it is he's born with an eye that if he looks at you with it, it'll cancel all your magic out. And Mashal's like, I'm sorry, you can't use that against me, and that must really bum you out. And the guy's like, what are you talking about? How are you upset and sorry that I can't use my cancellation magic on you? And he's like, yeah, it's just how these things work. And
It's just how these things work.
And the guy's like, whatever, there's probably some magic that's so powerful that I'm canceling out that you rely on. And Mashal just punches the crap out of him.
So
And the guy's like, whoa.
you have a character that has
No magic.
no magic, like he doesn't have anything, and then another character that has
Cancels magic.
nega magic, anti magic as they call it in Black Clover. So basically, he is the sword version of Asta, and then the protagonist is the punch a guy version of Asta.
Yep.
And he's like, I'm sorry, I'm canceling your magic. It's like, well, joke's on you. I don't have any magic to begin with.
Yep.
I love it.
It's and how this guy
Mashal.
Yeah. But this guy's normal magic, his normal magic is that he can, it's called accelerates. He can accelerate his own person. And it comes in the form of these arrows that he can make, and if he stands on them, he goes super fast. And so when he's fighting Mashal, he's got a sword, and he's like blitzing around him, cutting him up and whatnot. It doesn't really seem to be doing anything to Mashal for whatever reason. There's even a point where he stabs Mashal in the abdomen, and Mashal just flexes his abdominal muscles and keeps his sword, like he can't pull sword out of him.
Like he caught it.
Like he caught his sword with his abdominal muscles. It still went through him. Like he stabbed straight through, all the way out the back. And then he's like, I can't pull my sword out. And he's like, yeah, I'm flexing my abs. I have pretty good abdominal muscles. And the guy's like, what? I can't pull my sword out. And then he punches him. And he's like, I got you a second time. And the guy's like, I don't know what to do with you. And so he does his second tier magic.
What?
Yeah. So the guy,
Like he's ran through and then just grabs it.
he doesn't even grab the sword. He just tightens his muscles and punches the guy. And the guy's like, all right, I got to do my second tier magic. And then in Mashal, second tier magic is basically you making a more powerful version of your natural magic. And so his second tier magic is he makes this dome around the area that he's fighting in. And he can choose people in the dome, like you become slow. And then I gain speed that was sapped from your speed. So he basically gains Mashal's speed. And he starts going so fast he doesn't know how to move. He's like, I can't control myself. I've gained your speed, and I don't know how to do anything. It's too fast. And Mashal, he's like, Mashal just does the one thing he can do to control the environment. He raises his fist, and he punches the ground. And the guy's like, I don't know what to... Whoa. And he starts tripping, and he tries to get after Mashal to kill him. But what Mashal did is he made it to where there's only just one smooth path to get to him. So he has to take it, and he devotes all of his mental faculties to trying to control his body so he doesn't trip. And Mashal is fine with that because he made it to where there's only one path to get to him, so he just punches down the one path. And in slow motion, wrecks this guy going at super speed right into his fist. Boom!
Just stands there and holds his fist
Yep.
out.
No, he does a punch, but in slow motion, it looks like he's just throwing his fist out there, and the guy just at Mach speed just right
That
off
is
his
so
fist.
great. That is so great.
And then he proceeds to suplex the guy. Because whenever Mashal does an attack, he has to say things like other people so they don't think he's non-magical. So he just says the name of the muscle he's using for the attack. Like, oblique suplex. Ah!
Mashal, I need that. Okay, everyone. Well, we are coming up on that 2-hour mark. Thank you, everyone, for joining us on our podcast Off the Rails number 20.
It's because the podcast is ending. I would
Yeah,
be mad too.
yeah, me too. I feel the same way, P. I do. So remember, hit all of the social medias: the TikTok, the Twitter, the YouTubes, the Rumble, everything that we got going on. Please do all of that. Like, share, subscribe, hit all the buttons. Leave a comment down below on what story you liked the best and what movie you think is the worst in 2023 thus far. I am the guy that pushes all the buttons. My name is Tony, and this guy...
I'm Kenny, joining you yet again from my month-long hiatus. And as always, Internet, it's your move, Internet.